Welcome to another lesson about HTML. Today we'll be talking about the basic HTML tags, what a tag is, and how this is going to help you be a successful web developer. As we're going through this slideshow, please make sure you have your learning log open. Remember, that's just your Google Doc and your Google Drive where you keep notes and different things that we learn about, and at the end of the term, you'll turn that in for points. And also, it's always want to make a plug for reviewing the last video, the last lesson we did, so that you're always remembering, and that's really where learning comes in when you review it and can remember it and memorize it over long periods of time. Then the next thing I want you to do is to do answer these three tasks. Define HTML in your own words. What do we tag in our lives? And why do we tag things? So if you want to pause the video and go and write down those three things, and then you can come back and restart the video. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to do these three questions. If you remember from last video, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And basically, it's just a language that we use to make web pages. So like, for example, in my life, one thing that I tag often is assignments. Like, for example, I tagged this PowerPoint basic HTML tags so that I remember what it's called. I can always find it, and I don't call it PowerPoint 7 or else I would not be able to memorize what PowerPoint 7 was. So I tag lots of things, and that's kind of why we tag things, is to help keep things organized and be able to to know what it's named. In our life, we tag lots of different things: suitcases, dogs, backpacks, and sometimes we give things tags without a physical tag. Sometimes we tag something as our favorites, or we tag our seats in our classroom. We tag our bedroom and our possessions as ours. And so we do all those things to help us organize our lives and to show ownership. So this is an example of a tag you've probably seen before. This is a dog tag. And so what does this tag tell me? First, it tells me the dog's name. So it'll respond to me and come back when I call its name. Also tells, hopefully these are the phone numbers of the owner that I can then call. So this tag is very helpful, not only to the owner, but to anybody else who would see it. So if you could type this down into your learning log, this might be coming up on a quiz coming up, I don't know. A tag is an identifier that shows characteristics. Okay, so back to the dog tag, it shows the characteristics of the dog's name as well as a phone number of the owner. So it's a characteristic so that to help whoever sees the tag. Also, as you're watching the video, if you can also log into REPL, open up a new REPL. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and feel free. We'll be doing a little bit in there. So once you kind of look at what opens up when you do a new REPL. So if you want to pause the video, go ahead. Just make sure you're logged into REPL and just open up a new REPL. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it tags or whatever. Okay, moving on. When you first open up a new REPL, and I'll go ahead and log into a new REPL as well. Remember, we're always doing HTML, CSS in this class, and then you can just call it tags, create REPL. So when you open up a new REPL for the first time in HTML, CSS, you're going to see lots of different things. The first thing that I always do, at least for this little bit, we really don't need this workspace right there. And you can always move this back and forth to give you plenty of room. The next thing I always do is I delete these lines right here. We don't really need them for the first few weeks, and still they're just kind of distracting. When you delete those ones, this is then what you are left with. And these 8 tags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are what I would call your opening tags or your starting tags, the ones that you always have to start a new web page. Okay. So in this lesson today, we're going to be going through these 8 tags and kind of describing what each one of them does, so that moving forward, you can kind of start to understand how a web page is built. So again, this is just like what you saw. But I added some things here, but these are again our opening tags. We'll now go through each individual tag, starting at the top and working our way down, talk about each one, and help us start to learn what each one's used for. So our first one, our very top one, is just doc type HTML. And also, while you're watching this video, I hope you're taking notes in your learning log so that you can help you remember for upcoming quizzes and tests and start to memorize this information. It's always the first. It goes at the very top. It declares to the web browser what the version of HTML the page is. So there's older versions and different documents and different things that you'll use when building web pages. But when you have this at the top, when the browser, when Google Chrome goes to open up your web page, it'll then know exactly what it's dealing with. Okay. The analogy, the kind of the objects to help us kind of understand what's really happening, we're going to be using ordering a sandwich at Subway or wherever you get your sandwiches. So that very first step when you go to a sandwich place is you first tell them what kind of sandwich you want. When you tell the employee what kind of sandwich you want, they can start to make that sandwich. Okay, so when you tell, I want a chicken bacon sandwich, they can then start to formulate in their mind and start to lay out what that's going to look like. So that's how doc type HTML, and you'll see the sandwich analogy come out throughout the whole lesson today. So our next tag after the doc type is our HTML tags. Okay, we'll have one right below doc type, and then we'll have the other one clear at the bottom. Okay, this is like our two slices of bread. It's the edges of our web page. Okay. It defines that this is an HTML document, helps the web browser translate HTML in the beginning and end of the web page. So if you put anything below or above it, it probably won't show up on your web page. You want to make sure everything that you want to have on your web page is in between these two tags. On the next one, this head would go right below again, back to our example here. So we got doc type declares what type we have. HTML starts our web page. And we have our closing HTML clear at the bottom. Then we have our head that's right below HTML. And in our head area is kind of the behind the scenes thing, the things that you don't really see on the web page. And I would relate this to spices and seasonings that you put on your sandwich. Okay, if you look right at it, kind of from a distance, you can't really see the spices and stuff. You look really close, so you could see it. Contains information related to the document. Eventually, you'll see that we put in CSS and JavaScript kind of in this area because it's behind the scenes. Our next one is the title tags, and I kind of combine these into the same tag because you'll always see them kind of on the same line, where with the other ones, they're kind of spread out, but title tags are always on the same line and right next to each other. The other ones are usually pretty spread out. So the title tag from this picture, you'll see I've taken a screenshot of the top of my web browser. That's the title. Okay, that's the title of the web page that has been chosen. So like in this example, title area, so at the top of the bookmark, the top of the tab on your web browser, it would say title area. Whatever you put here, favorite color, your favorite pizza joints, whatever it is, that's where that comes from. Okay, and that's kind of like the name of your sandwich. Whatever the name of that web page is, that's what you would want to show up there. You don't want to have just some random number or a wrong name, or your users might get confused. Okay. Next one is our body tags. Okay, and in between our body tags is where our content goes, where the meat and the cheese of the sandwich go. Okay, this is what the user's there for. They're there to see pictures. They're there to see videos and content, and that helps. You want to have this be really well laid out, good colors, good pictures. And this is a majority of where we'll be spending our time over the next few weeks, is putting in stuff inside the body tags. For example, right here is just a simple paragraph tag, and it's just text. So if I was to run this little web page right here, they would see these letters. But you can also put in pictures. and links to YouTube videos, link to your Instagram page, whatever we want to put here. This is where we put it. If we were to take this line and put it in the head, it wouldn't run. You couldn't see it because it's in the head. Okay, so that's the 8 tags. You just got to start memorizing the order. It'll be on the quiz coming up, being able to put all 8 in order. The part that hopefully the sandwich making helps you, the HTML are the pieces of bread, the head is the spicing, and then the body is the meat and the cheese, okay? And another way that I help remember is that the head goes on top of the body. That's something that helps me remember the order. It's just like our human body, our head starts and ends before our body starts and ends, okay? The last principle I want to go over before the end of this video is the principle that everyone must have a date to the dance, okay? Whenever you do a tag, this is a heading 1 tag, it must have a date to the dance, okay? This is dance partner number 1. This is dance partner number 2. Dance partner number 2 is similar to dance partner number 1, but they have a forward slash, okay? Forward slash, forward slash, forward slash. That forward slash ends the tag. If you don't have that, that tag will continue to operate in the following code, okay? So you'll see that again in all of our opening tags, except for the doc type. I call the doc type kind of the bouncer, kind of lets people into the dance. Everybody else, for the most part, there's very many rules we can say always, but for the most part, everybody's going to have a date to the dance. There's a few tags where you don't have a perfect date to the dance, but they're going stag, I guess. But yeah, title, closing tag, opening tag, closing tag, opening tag, opening. So that's the last principle I wanted to go over this moving forward. I want to start getting that into your head that whenever you do a tag, you do an opening and then a closing tag, and that closing tag has a forward slash. Well, that's it. Hopefully that made sense, and I'm always here to reteach if you didn't get the main concepts, but hopefully you got the order and starting to understand where stuff goes in your web page.